Hello and welcome again to the Practical Guide Junior to GIS Expert Training Series, and today we are going to look at the QGIS user interface, assuming that you have already downloaded and installed QGIS software within your computer system. And after you start the QGIS software within your computer system, this is the user interface that will be obtained, and I've tried to narrow it down to 6 parts so that it can be easily understood. Number one is the layer list. It is where a list of your layers, after adding them to the system, it is where a list of your layers is obtained. And as you're trying to hovering to a layer, you can also navigate or you can see where that particular layer can be browsed or is located within your computer system. We have number two, which is toolbars containing a set of tools for different specific uses, starting from project, edit, views, layers, setting, plugins, vectors, raster, database, web processing, and helps. You can observe there are tools that can be used to save. There are tools for making your data to the next level of creating a layout view, a print layout view. You have icon for panning your data. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can zoom out to the extent you want. There are options for selection and other tools that can be well understood while we jumped into the computer system exactly. This is just a screen that I have captured for easy understanding. We have number three, that is a map canvas. It is where you get to display your loaded data. As you can see, we have a road layer within our layer list, and also it is in number three where you get to visualize or display your layer that have been added to your system. We have number four. As you can see, number four actually is status bar, and this status bar is actually used to show you information about the current map. Also allows you to adjust the map scale. As you can see here, there is a scale where you can adjust it, you can magnify, you can rotate, and the like. We have number five, which is the side toolbar. By default, the side toolbar contains the buttons to load the layers and also the buttons to create new layers. As you can see here, we have several buttons where you can add data, for instance, from database, spatialites, from vector, from raster and the like, from web map services and the like. Also, we have number 6, which is the locator bar. Actually, the locator bar is used in many cases to access to almost all the object of your QGIS layers, layer features, algorithms, spatial bookmarks, etc. And this can be also moved around to, you can relocate it to anywhere that you feel that it's suitable for you actually. Yeah, so that is the user interface, and we'll jump to the computer, our QGIS system, so that we can play around and see exactly how it look observing from your computer system as you load or you start the QGIS software within your computer system. Yeah, so as I said earlier, we have number one, which was the layer panel, or sometimes it's called the layer list, where a list of your layers will be observed. So to add layers, you can see here there are option for add vector layers. We have option to add raster layers, and as I said, as you're trying to hovering on a specific icon within the software, it being a tool or an initiator of a certain task, so as you hover you get some information. For instance, as you can see, if I go here this is add delimited text, where you can add data, for instance Excel data which are saved as text delimited or comma delimited text. And we also have option, for instance, to add PostGIS layers, which actually are database. We also have option to add web map services, as you can see here. These are concerning with the web maps, so you can have your data saved as web maps service, and you can also add them within the software and the likes. So let's start by going to the toolbar. This is the toolbar, and you can see we have project. If you click on the project, you get some options whether to initiate a new project from a template, a saved template. If you have already worked with a certain task and you need the same templates to continue working with, we have an option to open. This is as I said, this is a toolbar, but at the same time you can browse to get some saved data within your software or within your computer system. So to remove these news and related Qgis monthly visual Fridays and these news, you just have to click on a new project, and you get a clean clean map canvas. So from here, let's add our data. You can just click add vector layer, then you can browse within the data set containing vector layer. For instance, let me go to any of my data. Let's try to go to PG data. For instance, new district. I'm using Tanzania shapefiles. So let me just go to S3 shapefile so that I get only the shapefile data. Then I click and I open it. You see there are some informations to feed, but you can just these are options. You can click add, then you can choose a transformation. For instance, as you can see here, we have the source coordinate system, which is ARC 1960, assuming that the center of the earth is within East Africa, which is comprises of the countries shown here within this canvas, as you can see. So we can choose to transform the data from ARC 1960 to the World Geodetic System, which is WGS 84, which assumes the center of the earth to be the normal reference center part of the earth, the equator. But then we can just click cancel to remain with data which is not transformed, and click close. So here is our data, as you can see. So this is a map canvas where you get to see your data. You can zoom in and zoom out wherever you want, and also within the toolbar we have several options, as you can see here. For instance, you have within the vector, this is a vector data, so within the vector you can have geoprocessing tool where you can buffer, you can clip, you can convex tool, you can differentiate, you can dissolve. So these tools are there for different purposes. For instance, creating a buffer. You can also clip to get the extent of the area of your interest. You can differentiate, you can dissolve by joining two data, and the like. For instance, this is a district data. If you want to, let's say, to have a region data, you can just dissolve the districts that are falling within a specific region to obtain data which is a region boundary of the extent of the district that you added. Yeah. So this is a toolbar. And also if you go down here, you can observe coordinates, and you can also observe scale. As you can see here, you can choose the scale you want. For instance, if I choose this one, you can see the changes. If I choose this one, you can see the change. If I choose this one, you can see the changes. If I choose this one, you can see the changes. So depending on the scale that you want, you can simply choose from this panel here, down here. You can just initiate it. Also you can rotate as whatever angle you want, and you can magnify and the like. Yeah, so that's where you can add vector data. But also we have option where you can add raster data. These are digital image data, consist of set of pixels. So you can just as within the same procedure, you can find where you have your data. For instance, I have some raster data within this project. For instance, data, I have some images, post-processing. For instance, this one, if I add it, this is a TIFF format. If I add it to the system, you can see where it belongs. This is Tarangire National Park, and you can see they overlaid because they're the data of the same place, but at the same times they use the same projection type, so they can simply overlay. So this is actually this is a national park which is located in Tanzania, in Manyara, which actually is, if you try for instance to name, you just click the data you want to style it. For instance, here you can see this is at the same time this is a browser panel, so you can see where this data is located, Tanzania New District. But if you right click, you get some option here to zoom to layer. For instance, if you click zoom to layer, you see you're going back to the data you want. If I want to zoom to this buffer extent of the Tarangire National Park, I just click here and I go back to the same. So let's go to properties and try to name this layer. Let's say labels. We choose from down here, you select a single labels, then you can just you can choose colors, and you can just as you can see, there are options to choose font. You can also choose color and opacity and the likes. You can also want to have a buffer of your output, and here let's name this layer using the attribute district name and click apply, then okay. You can see Babati, Urban, and all these are within Manyara region. These are actually Monduli, as you can see, Simanjiro, Babati, Urban, and Babati, Kondoa. These are districts. Yeah, so that's how you can you can deal with data within your layer list. And also you might need to try to check on your attributes. Here is an option to open an attribute table of the data that you have highlighted within the layer list. So you can see we have region names and district names over here. But another option to go to the attribute table is to just right click the layer you want and open attribute table. Yeah, you can see here. But also there are tools, for instance, for measuring tools, where you can measure distance. For instance, you can measure line distance, you can measure area, you can measure angles. For instance, if I wanna measure the area of the Tarangire National Park, which is the buffer layer, I can just simply roughly create, I can just go by clicking to have, so you can see here we have we can have areas in terms of meter squares. For instance, I'm just going roughly, but for the case of accuracy, you need to click where exactly your data extent is. So you can see here from this table we have area in terms of square meters, but you can choose here some other unit of measurements. For instance, I might need, let's say, to have my area in terms of hectares. So these are hectares. You can just play around the measurement units you want. So that it is. These are all the tools that are there. We have toolbox here where you can have different tools. For instance, I can need to have, because I have data in raster, I can possibly want to do a raster analysis. As you can see, someone asked also about if QGIS has that capacity of having a raster analysis. So here you can observe within the tools, and also we have calculator where you can calculate. We have a statistical summary where you can get a summary of your data, and you can play around with anyhow you want. We also have an important tool here, which is a new print layout, which is used to finalize your map. For instance, let's assume I wanna create this map, so I can just simply name it Tanzania districts. Let's say, let me make it short, TZ districts. Then I just click OK. You see, from here you can have an option where you have your printout. You can choose page properties that you want. For instance, if I wanna print my data in terms of A3 paper size, I can just initiate it within the size, the orientation, the width, the height, whatever you want. So I can just you see here we have also tools within the print layout. We have tools. For instance, we have a saving tool, we have a new layout, we have a duplicate layout, and the likes. We have export as an image. You can export as CSVG and as a PDF. For instance, if I want to add a map, I can simply click here within these tools. You see, you have here add a map. I can simply draw a rectangle of the size of the map I want. Then I can play with the scale that I want. And actually, if I wanted to just show a Tanzania layer, I could just remove. I can just go back to the data view. Not this one. Not this one. You can just go to. You can just go back to. I can just go back to my data view and check the layer that I didn't want. For instance, I wanted this map, or if I wanted all the maps, I can just have this one. But for instance, you could possibly wanted to visualize both of them, so I can just play around with the symbology of this layer by going to symbology and choose and let me try to make it a hollow and click OK. So you can see these layers around here, and if I go back to the printout, you can see and I can zoom it to the extent of a full size. As you can see, there are options where you can add this is an option to add a legend. You can just click a rectangle and have your legend. As you can see, we have a buffer and a Tanzania, as you can see, and you can also want to add a north arrow. You can just make it, and you can also add all other map elements. For instance, a scale bar, you can just draw it down here and have a scale bar. As you can see, you might need also to have a title of your map. You can just play around and type a title of your map you want. From here you can type whatever you want, and also you might also want to remain with the same style. You have to lock and click, for instance, the map and lock the style that I want, so that in case I need to go back and add another, let's say I would also wish to have a locator map. I can just go back and remove the names so that it appears nice. So I can just go back here and say no labels and click apply and OK. So I can go back to the printout and add map, and I can just have, let's say, my locator map here, and I can tell that this Tarangire National Park is from this point by just trying to draw a line that indicates a location of my map, as you can see here. So actually this is simply roughly, but within the training we will be showing you how to make great map visualization to serve different purposes. For the part of this tutorial, I think we have covered most of what was intended within the tutorial. So other tools, we're going to see how to use them. For instance, the editing tools where you can edit your data. There are options to create, for instance, layers. You can create a new shapefile layer, you can create a package layer,